I work with stroke patients in an acute care setting, as well as after that initial 24 hours to help get them back on their feet in their baseline. I coordinate our program to ensure that all of the nurses and physicians in the community that we work with is given the appropriate information and education regarding stroke care.
My mom's probably the healthiest person I know, and she's the most dedicated person I know too. Every morning at 4 o'clock, she comes in, gives me a kiss, and goes and runs.
We were off on holiday, and after I ran, Parker decided he wanted to go to Starbucks with me. We got our Starbucks and we're headed home.
Well, we were at a red light, we're just having a conversation like we always do, and all of a sudden, she kind of lost feeling in her hand.
After my stroke, because I had been completely asymptomatic my whole life, I found out that I had a congenital heart defect that caused me to throw a clot into my head and have a stroke. Had this happened to me 10 years ago, I would probably be in a long-term care facility. I probably wouldn't be able to eat, and I probably wouldn't be able to communicate with my family. I probably would have never regained the strength in my arm or the ability to speak or eat. As a nurse, that was incredibly scary to me because I do know the numbers and I do know how devastating and catastrophic this could have been to me. Without the American Heart Association and all of the research that they have enabled to happen and all of the community awareness that they provide, we wouldn't be where we're at today. As a stroke survivor, one of my biggest fears was that I was not going to be able to be a productive part of society. But when you get treated quickly, you're more than likely going to be able to walk out of the hospital. So 12 days after my stroke, I ran 12 miles. And then 26 days after my stroke, I ran my first marathon. And I remember after my stroke thinking that it wasn't gonna happen. But as the day got closer, I decided I was gonna start with all of the other marathon runners. I didn't know where my finish line was gonna be, but that was gonna be okay wherever it was at. I still doubted myself, but I wanted to try. So I started at the beginning. I felt amazing the entire race. And I kept on looking at the medic tents, and I didn't need to go to one. And I think at mile 17, I thought, I'm in single digits. I'm in single digits. I only have 9 miles left. And then at mile 25, I actually thought, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be a marathon runner. And I didn't have to think about being a stroke survivor for a little bit. And since then, I've ran another marathon, and my goal is to run 3 or 4 a year. My relationship with my patients is on a much deeper level, as I'm a stroke survivor myself. The fear of losing control and not being able to make your body work the way it works all on its own, I felt that fear. I can help guide them through that fear and pain while we're treating them during that acute stage. And then when I'm seeing them while they're in the hospital, they can see how amazing your recovery can be. So I do give them hope. And going forward, speaking and in the community, if I can just help one person prevent or one person get to the hospital in time so they are not a part of that long-term disability group, I'm over the moon. We can use the funding to prevent heart disease and stroke, as well as research when those events do happen to people, and we can make that as minimal as possible to get them back up on their feet. Then we can assure that people continue to have a normal life and can enjoy their families. What are those moments, experiences, or people that you live for? What or who brings you joy, wonder, and happiness? My family is why.